Hello friends, welcome back to another Bluebird Art Studios video. My name is Miss Emma, and today we're going to be making a painting for World Kindness Day. So you're going to want to begin with watercolor paper. We'll begin by drawing a circle in the center of the paper just like this, starting out softly and darkening the line as you go. After this, we're going to draw a heart slightly down from the middle of your circle. We should also do this lightly so that we can readjust as needed. After this, we'll start adding our lines. These are going to be the arms of the earth. We'll also add 3 fingers to each of the arms so she can hold on to the heart. The arms and hands can be a tricky step here, so keep an eye on what I'm doing and make sure you're drawing lightly so you can redo them if needed, just like I did here. After we're happy with the way that our lines look, we can go ahead and darken them so that they're easier for us to see later on. Now we're going to find the area just above the heart and add a little smiley face, and then eyes on either side. This is the expression of the earth. After this, we start separating the land from the ocean. We can do this by adding squiggly lines all around the circle. I did not add any lines on top of the arm so that they looked like they were coming out from the Earth's body. Next, because it is World Kindness Day that we're celebrating, I'm adding some hearts over the earth. After we're done with this step, we can grab our Sharpie and begin outlining the lines that we've made. As you use your Sharpie, you want to go very slowly to make sure that we get a steady line to make the drawing look as good as possible. Also, be very careful as you go around the fingers. That is a tricky area. We'll finish up the base of the earth by adding the mouth and eyes, and then start outlining those hearts up top. Now, while you're outlining the land within the earth, make sure to go very lightly. If you look carefully, you see that I went a lot lighter with my Sharpie to make the lines appear smaller. When you do this, it makes it a lot easier to see the expression of the earth. After this, we'll just take our eraser and erase any pencil lines we see under that Sharpie. Now I'm going to grab my watercolor palette and my smallest brush and begin mixing a red. To make sure you have the right amount of water on your brush, you can use our water, sponge method. This is where you just dip your brush twice in the water and then pat it twice on the sponge before moving on to your color palette. Now we'll bring our red to the palette on the left and make sure we have the right color by testing it out on a test paper. After this, we'll begin painting in those little hearts at the top. I decided I wanted a very bright red, so I made sure to use a lot of paint and a little bit of water. Next, to paint our big heart, I went ahead and took my flat brush because it was a little bit bigger and easier to paint with. After this, we're going to make sure we wash that brush off really well and then mix a nice blue for the ocean. As you can see, I tested out the blue on my paint tester paper before continuing. Because I wanted a lighter blue for this, I made sure to use a little bit less paint and a little bit more water. Now we can mix up our green and bring that to our palette, paper, and finally our page. I wanted this one to be a little bit more vibrant, so we had some color contrast. Next, I'm taking my large brush and mixing together the blue and green, adding some water until it's lighter, and then we're going to begin our background. Because this is for World Kindness Day, I wanted the background to be a very earthy color, so I went with the blue and the green. I first just did a base coat to make sure the paper was wet, and then I went in and added some more details for texture. I did this by making sure that the page was wet and then adding a little bit more paint on top of it and blending as needed. Be careful as you blend around the hearts, because if you do get any wet paintbrushes on the red, it can smudge it into the background. At this point in the painting, just keep adding on to that background until you're happy with the result. Make sure not to overdo it as well, because sometimes with watercolor, it can be easy to make the page too wet or overwork your paint. Alright friends, thank you so much for being here and celebrating kindness through art with me today. If today's painting brightened your day, consider sharing it with someone else who could use a little bit of next time. Stay kind, stay creative, and stay tuned for more art videos from Bluebird Art Studios.